We know The View is unhinged, right? We know that. I mean, that's like no big secret, ladies and gentlemen. But it's amazing how quickly they are deteriorating. Like, you're watching it spin out of control in real time. You would think after everything that just went down over the weekend, right, that somebody at Disney, one of the higher ups, might say, hey, ladies, let's tone it down, right? Because it's produced by ABC News, which is owned, of course, by Disney. But no, that's not the case. In fact, they're doubling down. They said all kinds of crazy stuff on the air on Monday. And here we are fast forwarding. I want to show you what was said today, because somehow they're getting a little nervous. They're getting a little bit nervous that Donald Trump may just sweep the country. So they're trying to do whatever they can to prevent that, including full-on assault of Nikki Haley, whom they at one point loved, right? As long as you're singing their tune. But the fact that she crossed to the other side of the aisle, the fact that she's trying to help unite the country, which is the right thing to do, ladies and gentlemen, at a time like this. I'm sorry, it just is. These ladies, they have no compass. They're only dug in on one side. They don't have the decency to just kind of watch and wait and be a kind person, a kind American in a time like this. No. Watch what they said about Nikki Haley's commentary.
Hello. Welcome to The View, y'all. Welcome to The View. So the most anticipated speaker at last night's RNC was Nikki Haley, who was one of the Republican nominee's most vocal critics when she challenged him during the primaries. Take a look.
Chaos follows him.
He's gotten more unstable and unhinged.
And he's just toxic.
He's not qualified to be the president of the United States.
He is more diminished than he was. Just like Joe Biden's more diminished than what he was. There is no way that the American people are going to vote for a convicted criminal. They're not.
But she had a big change of heart when she took the stage last night. Take a look.
President Trump asked me to speak to this convention in the name of unity. I'll start by making one thing perfectly clear. Donald Trump has my strong endorsement, period. If we have 4 more years of Biden or a single day of Harris, our country will be badly worse off. You don't have to agree with Trump 100% of the time to vote for him. Take it from me. I haven't always agreed with President Trump. But we agree more often than we disagree.
Pathetic. So disheartening.
She waged an effective campaign in the primaries, took a decent chunk of voters with her. So now, what are her people supposed to think about what's going on here?
She's a big disappointment. I mean, because now she's giving permission to her people to vote for him. And they might have stayed home and voted for Biden. Who knows what they would have done. But it was like the invasion of the body snatchers last night.
Are you surprised?
No, I'm not. But I mean, everybody, she's not the only one. They're all up there kissing the ring of dear leader.
It's not the ring they're kissing.
They all, though, Joy, said, most of them, except I think for Chris Christie, that they would get behind Donald Trump if he were the nominee. And they are sticking to their word. They're getting in line. They're circling their wagons. I mean,
so DeSantis doesn't care that he insinuated he was a pedophile.
Does not care.
Or Cruz doesn't care that he said his wife was ugly.
They only care about power. They care about their party and power before their country. And that is very, very clear.
You know what I think? I think they're addicted to their power. It's an addiction. Do you have an addiction? I have an addiction to Scrabble, okay?
She does.
And I really do. And I understand an addiction from that point of view. You don't want to give it up. And they're addicted. Yeah. They should have term limits. They should not be there forever and ever and ever.
Yeah.
These people, because they are addicted. But
these women are clearly addicted to being on television. And for some reason, they're addicted, maybe thanks to TDS, to just spinning one narrative all the time, over and over and over and over again. All they can say is Trump bad, Biden great. I'm sorry. Like, you know what? I don't need to pick on a guy when he's down. But there's no way you can tell me that Joe Biden is great. There's no way that you can tell me that Joe Biden's all there, frankly. Thank you very much. No matter how many times you try and say it, Joe and Mika on your morning show that even got canceled. Whole other story. Maybe tomorrow we'll dig into that, the drama at NBC News. My gosh, they canceled these people because they knew that they could not be responsible enough. You know what? Disney should have canceled The View. They will eventually, mark my words. Disney's up for sale. Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, forgive me, ABC is up for sale. And Disney's CEO, Bob, wants to get rid of this thing like yesterday. So what happens? I've walked you through this scenario before. You get a private equity shop in there or another media company that's trying to sort of maybe generate some profits in the old media world, hopefully to help transition them into the new media world. And what will they do? They're going to squeeze profitability out of this company any which way they can, which means, guess what? You don't need a studio audience. You don't need Joy. You don't need Whoopi. You don't need any big salaries there on your payroll. Because why would you? Fox is dating, the one with I used to actually be on it, the one with all the women outnumbered. There we go. Isn't that nice? I can just sort of wipe it from my memory clean. And I don't even have what Joe Biden's got going on. Anyway, that show I used to go on at 12 noon, that's beating The View. So you've got cable television beating network television. What does that tell me? You don't need to pay all that money for the whole production staff, for the people that book the audience, for the people that hold up the signs and say laugh and clap. And yeah, that actually happens with a live studio audience. So they're going to completely gut that thing and likely gut those women's salaries or just send them packing. So get ready for the Whoopi podcast. I know that you're not going to watch that. That's eventually what's going to happen with all of these really desperate women on The View. And so as a result of that, I think they're doubling down. They figure this is their last shot. They want to try and take them out, and yet literally they can't. They can't. And I got to be careful with that phraseology, obviously, in light of what just went down. But let's take a look at Joy Behar talking about how she didn't like what Donald Trump had to say when he had just nearly been blown in the head. And again, time and place, lady, time and place. You are so wildly inappropriate. It is so wildly disgusting. Here is Joy Behar talking with Elizabeth Warren on The View.
How does the word fight lower the temperature? That I don't get.
I see it this way. Fighting with words?
Yeah.
Yep. Saying, and if you feel better, we can call it, we're disputing, we're disagreeing. I'll get out my thesaurus on this. But the basic point is, I get that there are places you and I don't agree. And it's not just that to disagree, we have to say, well, let me pull out my tea and my cookies and talk sweetly about, I want you, bring me what you've got and I'll bring you what I've got. I think that's what we hunger for. We hunger for people who won't just sit back and watch access to IVF just leave this country. Watch half our population lose access to abortion because an extremist wing of the Supreme Court, 6 people who, by the way, swore until the world looked level that they would respect precedent, just threw it out the window. I want people to stand up and defend the position I believe in. I want the other side to make their argument. And then I want people to vote on November 5th and vote for Democrats.
So it's a little bit confusing there. It almost sounds like she's defending Donald Trump, or at least she's defending the need to fight. She wants some fighters out there. Listen, the fact that he could say anything at all, Joy Behar ought to just rejoice. Can you imagine what would be going through your head in a moment like that? Especially when you get knocked to the ground, you reach over here and you realize that there's all this blood. I mean, the fact that he had the consciousness and presence. I mean, Joe Biden wouldn't have this on his best day, right? And let alone getting shot at. To stand up and to look at the crowd and to say fight is amazing, incredible. Someone upstairs is looking out for Donald Trump.